Yung guys, so ito, let's go with the discussions once again. Yeah. Okay guys, so good morning to each and every one of you, and ano ba ngayon? Today is May 10, 2026. It's Sunday, and Happy Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day doon sa aking nanay nasa Cavite. Happy Mother's Day sa aking kapatid na nasa San Francisco, California. A shout out sa iyo, Day. And Happy Mother's Day dun sa aking hipag, si Cathy, nasa Cavite rin. At sa lahat ng mga nandyan, Happy Mother's Day sa inyo. So let's talk about this one. I'm gonna talk about the national debt, no, ng ating bansa. Alright. So actually I have a topic here. May topic tayo dito. Yan. Ito. We will talk about the national debt. Yung ating pambansang utang, kung magkano na. Let us analyze it. So now, actually, when we talk about the national debt, ito yung utang natin na utang ng mga administration simula ngayon, no? Itong ating incumbent administration of Marcos Jr., then President Duterte, President Aquino, President Macapagal Arroyo, President Estrada, President Valdez Ramos, President Aquino. Okay? So, doon mo makikita yung ating national debt. Pero hindi na natin babalikan yung nakaraan. We will start with Pinoy administration. Alright? Kasi actually guys, ang pinag-usapan natin dito utang eh. So kasi ganito yan, dapat when we talk about a president must be an economic manager. So dapat siya isang economic manager. Magaling siyang magplan, magaling siya sa plano, magaling siya sa decision making, no? Magaling siya sa implementation and execution. Magaling siya sa prioritization. Ganun dapat yung president, yung outlook niya. Alright? Meron siya sarili talagang talino. Kaya mabigat ang posisyon ng presidente sa ating bansa. Lahat kasi you're going to weigh. Kailangan na ba nating mangutang o hindi muna? Kailangan na ba nating mangutang sa loob ng bansa o kaya pang ma-manage? O kailangan na ba nating mangutang sa labas ng bansa o kaya pa naman nating ma-manage? So yun yung mga dapat na isaalang-alang ng isang presidente. Depende yon sa sitwasyon sa loob ng bansang Pilipinas. Ngayon, if you're going to look at this, no, may nakita kasi ako sa FB. I'll just I wanted to discuss this to you. Ito, like this one. So, bakit kasalanan na naman ni PRRD? So, if we're going to look at sa baba, numbers don't lie, blame game does. Alright, so sa sociology kasi kamukha na ito guys. I'll just try to explain briefly. Ito yung blame game. So ito yung crab mentality natin under sociology subject, na kung saan ayaw nating mga Pilipino, no, majority na umangat yung ibang mga kasamahan natin, no? Kaya ang nangyayari, bis na magkaroon ng growth and development at magkaroon ng success yung isang individual, hinahatak siya pababa because of what we call as envy, no? Inggit. Nagkakaroon ng inggitan in which because of that envy, it will result to crab mentality, no? Okay. So now let's talk about there. Let me make it. Ayan. Palaki natin. The first is President Aquino or Pinoy. Ang kanyang administration was on 2010 to 2016. So yung national debt during his time is when he left office, no? Nung umalis siya sa office niya noong 2016, it's 6.1 trillion. So meaning to say, guys, so if you're going to look at this, sa loob ng 6 na taon, nakautang si President Noynoy Aquino ng 6 na trilyong piso. 6.1 trillion. So if we're going to look at it, for every year, there is only 1 trillion per annum na debt tayo na nakikreate. Alright? During the term of President Noynoy Aquino. So it accumulates to 6.1 trillion for 6 years. Within 6 years, no? Within 6 years. Alright? Pero, actually dito, humanga rin ako dito kay President Aquino kasi sa kanya ay nagsimula yung K-12, no? K-12. So, i-highlight ko lang yung kasi nga yung K-12 in terms of education. Kaya niya ginawa yun para maging competitive yung educational system ng Pilipinas sa ibang bansa. Kasi dati, di ba, grade 6 lang, tapos high school ka na. So that is not enough. No, that is not competitive. It's an incompetent situation. So, yun ang pinag-aralan nila. So, ngayon, meron na tayong grade 12, then after grade 12, saka ka magka-college. So, ibig sabihin, the educational system of the Philippines is already competitive. Hindi kasi kamukha nun pag pumunta ka sa ibang bansa at ang graduate mo lang noon is elementary 6 grades, tapos high school 4, college 4 years, mag-aaral ka ulit sa US. Pero ngayon, because of the system na inadapt natin during the administration of President Noynoy Aquino, our Philippine educational system is already competitive. Yes. Alright, so yun. Kaya i-highlight ko na to. Yung 6 na taon ni President Aquino, no, ay nag-accumulate ng 6.1 trillion. So, kung kakalkulahin ninyo, that will be 1 point something, no, trillion per annum. Okay? So, yan. Now, ang susunod talaga ito. Dito hanga talaga ako rito. Si President Rodrigo Roa Duterte. Yan. PRRD. Nanungkulan siya mula 2016 hanggang 2022. Yan. Ngayon, ang kanyang naging national debt during his administration, no, is only as well 6 trillion. 6 trillion pesos in 6 years. Alright. So 6 trillion pesos in 6 years ang accumulate ni Tatay Digong during his administration. So ang mangyayari yan, 6 trillion nung panahon ni President Noynoy Aquino, 6 trillion nung panahon ni President Rodrigo Roa Duterte. So both of them for 6 years, no, sila ay nakapangutang lang ng tig-1 trilyon kada isang taon. 1 trilyon kada isang taon to support the budget deficit, no, to support the capitalization, ano, uh, of our economy. So yun yung nangyari. Now, dito tuwa ako dito kay Tatay Digong kasi yung kanyang 6 trillion na inutang for 6 years sa Pilipinas, ang daming nagawa, guys. Unahin ko dito, gustong-gusto ko yung ginawang project ni Tatay Digong na build. And show ko sa inyo. Napakagaling ni President Duterte. Ayan to, if you go look at this, build. Yan, itong tumatak sa majority ng Pilipino. No? Build. Yan. Napakagandang ginawa niya ni Tatay Digong. Itong build na to, nag-capitalize siya sa mga infrastructure, but infrastructure particularly, let us specify it, doon sa transportation, particularly doon sa roads, bridges, no? Meaning to say, nakita ni Tatay Digong na ang isang ekonomiya ay hindi talaga uunlad. Hindi talaga tayo uunlad kung ang ating transportation ay ancient pa. Kumbaga, walang modernisasyon. So, ang ginawa ni Tatay Digong, natutuwa ako sa kanya. Very good, President Duterte. Hangang-hanga ako sa iyo kasi pinatayo niya na, no? Yung subway train, no? Subway train, so to ease the traffic here in the Philippines kasi in his administration, dun lang naisip, no, nagawa ng paraan yung traffic congestion here in the Philippines sa pamamagitan ng pagpapagawa ng subway train. At ang isang presidenteng nakaisip niyan ay walang iba kundi si Tatay Digong. Very good. So now the thing is, but kaso nahinto. I don't know what will happen here. So sana in this administration of Marcos Jr., sana ituloy niya kasi siya rin naman ng mabe-benefit nun nung accomplishment, no? So mayayari yan, si President Duterte ang nagsimula, ang tumapos si President Marcos Jr. So because of the tandem of the Duterte Marcos, nagkaroon tayo ng subway train. Sana ganun no? Sana ituloy. Kasi nakikita ko yung subway train, yung kanyang, anong tawag doon, depot, no? Dito sa may Mindanao Avenue kung saan nandun na yung may mga release na ron, guys doon ipaparada yung mga, what do you call that, yung mga coaches ng mga subway train, no? Ang laki nun sa may Mindanao Avenue, kaso naka-halt parang naka-stop. Then dumaan ako sa may North Caloocan, diyan sa bandang Tala, no, approaching Tala, no, nakita ko yung on the right side ng no, yung property ng dam diyan sa may Bulacan. So nakita ko andyan din yung depot, no, nung subway train, malawak. So sana matapos na para umunlad na ang Pilipinas. Alam nyo, nung panahon ni Tatay Digong, no, natuwa rin ako yung ginawa niya, yung Cebu-Cordova Link, no? Cebu-Cordova Link na pinaka longest bridge in the Philippines right now. So yun, ang ganda noon. Kaya so I'm hoping na some of these days makakapunta ako sa Cebu-Cordova Link, no? Cebu-Cordova Link. So to ease the traffic and para mapadali, guys, no, kaya ginagawa ni Tatay Digong to para mapadali ang kalakalan sa ating bansa. Kasi pag naisip ni Tatay Digong, pag mabilis ang kalakalan, mabilis po ang pagde-deliver ng mga produkto sa iba't ibang rehiyon ng ating bansa, kung saan kung ganyan ang mangyayari, magiging mabilis ang ating pag-unlad in growth and development ng ating ekonomiya. Kasi mabilis nang may transport yung mga produkto. Kaya niya ginawa yun. Kaya napakagaling. I salute Tatay Digong. And another thing is that 6 trillion, bilhin nyo, 6 trillion for his 6 years administration. So dito rin na nangyari yung COVID-19 pandemic. And then because of the administration of President Duterte, nagkaroon ng lockdown support, no? There are vaccines, healthcare. Yun ang napaka-critical. So sa isang ama ng bansa, dapat tignan niya yung kalusugan ng kanyang mga anak. So yun ang ginawa ni Tatay Digong for his 6 years, no? National debt in terms of 6 trillion. So meaning to say, naprotektahan niya na yung kanyang mga constituent, naprotektahan niya yung kanyang mamamayan, no? At kaalinsabay nito, nagkaroon din siya ng investment, no? Investment yan nag-capitalize siya doon sa mga infrastructure, particularly in the transportation infrastructure. Doon siya nag-capitalize na, for example, kung yung mga roads, bridges, railroads, no, subway trains, and other transportation infrastructure, no, matatapos siya ng 3 years, 5 years, 8 years, or 10 years. Merong ROI, guys, may return of investment. May ROI yan no, maibabalik yan. Kaya nga nangungutang ang bansa para gawing kapaki-pakinabang, at doon sa ROI makakuha tayo ng pambayad doon sa utang. Yun ang ginagawa ni Tatay Digong noon, no? Na sana ituloy nila ngayon. Kasi napakalaking tulong yan upang hindi lang makatulong sa ating mga mamamayan, upang mabayaran din yung utang. No? Yan yung sinasabi natin dyan na ROI. Ayan, no? So ayan guys, the reason why it became 12.79 trillion is because we added the 6.1 trillion of Noynoy to Tatay Digong's national debt. So all in all, meron silang 6 each trillion, no, na accumulate. So mean to say that will be 1 trillion per annum. No, it's 1 trillion per annum. All right. So yun. Now the next is, after this, i-clarify ko lang, no? Kasi pag sinabi natin kamukha na ito, let us for President Aquino, meron lamang siyang 6 trillion na utang at when he left office in 2016. Now, for President Duterte, meron lang siyang 6 trillion pesos na national debt when he left the office. Now, for our incumbent president, President Marcos Jr., with an administration from 2022 to 2026, no? Meron siyang, let us clarify, 5.7 trillion national debt in just 3.5 years. So, in just 3.5 years, meron na siyang 5.7 trillion. But the thing is that, I hope sana maging mabuti pa ang kalagayan ng ating bansa. Kasi nagkaroon tayo ng problem with his administration, and this pertains to the ghost projects, no? Ghost projects, then there are also what's this one? Nagkaroon ng ghost projects, then flood control, then it's always ribbon cuttings and photo ops, then press releases. Alright, so ayun. So that's it. So sa ngayon, it's 5.7 trillion, and for that will be for almost 4 years. So if you will compare it, no, medyo malaki ngayon yung ating increase in terms of national debt. Right. So we hope that the president can make any solutions, no, para masolve itong mga problema na ito. So doon nagka-problema yung mga flood control projects, no? Yan, flood control projects. And when you surrender the sovereignty of the Republic of the Philippines to the Dutch, no? That's the biggest problem here. Okay. So yun guys, do. So we hope na ang ating bansa ay magkaroon ng magandang ekonomiya muli, no? At sana sa kanyang pagpapatuloy sa kanyang pamamahala, sana ay magkaroon ng magandang direksyon ang ating bansa. So if we're going to look at it, ang dami, no? During the time of President Duterte, nagkaroon tayo ng isang malaking problema. Yun yung COVID-19 pandemic. Ngayon naman, panahon ni Marcos Jr., nagkaroon tayo ng problema rin, yung the Middle East oil conflict doon sa gitnang silangan. So yun, sana ay masolusyonan ito, no? So sa mga mabibigat na problema. So the only thing is that yung sinabi ko kanina pa nga nung bago tayo magsimula, a president must be an economic manager, no? Must be an economic manager. Kasi if you're going to be the president of the Republic of the Philippines, lahat yan ibabalanse mo guys eh. In economics, no? Dapat ang tinitingnan mo dyan in economics, yung microeconomics saka yung macroeconomics, which are different from each other. Yung microeconomics to macroeconomics, na napakahalaga na maintindihan mo kung ano yung sistema ng microeconomic at sistema ng macroeconomic. Kasi if you're going to look at as a whole, no, it's divided into three itong ating ekonomiya. Unang-una muna dito, syempre yung fiscal policy. There are three policies that you must look at if you are going to be the President of the Republic of the Philippines. At yan ay nakita ni Tatay Digong. At sana ay makita ni President Marcos. Unang-una, yung fiscal policy. The fiscal policy pertains to the taxation of the Republic of the Philippines. If it helps the people, or it is already a burden, no, for the people here in the Republic. So dapat i-weigh mo yan, yung fiscal policy. The next thing is yung monetary policy. You must look at the monetary policy specifically with the Bangko Sentral of Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas. Dapat titingnan mo dun. Yung monetary policy pertains to, we look at the supply of the money, no? We look at the demand of the money. Now, if we're going to look at this monetary policy, if you will notice, medyo na-devalued na yung peso. Kasi for now, it's 61 pesos na, no? 61 point something pesos na against dollar. So, dapat gumawa ang ating pamahalaan regarding the monetary policy of what we're going to do with that to combat it. Kasi laging yung tatandaan, pag yung piso natin ay humihina, no? Ang piso kasi ay sinasabi nating humihina pag lumalaki yung presyo ng dolyar, ng value ng dolyar laban sa piso. Kamukha ng ang isang dolyar ngayon ay 61 pesos na. So means malakas ang ekonomiya ng United States of America laban sa ating bansa. So that is a big problem. Kasi nga, 'di ba, if you will notice magkano yung ating tariff. Yung tariff natin is 19%, no? Tariff compared to the other countries here in Southeast Asia, no? Kaya dapat if you're going to be a president, magaling kang makipag-negotiate.